Glorious God, you promise to open doors of blessing and abundance for your people. We ask that you would work mightily in us today. Come upon us and cause us to have a productive meeting. Lead each one of us so that we can make fruitful contributions at this time. Enable us to think and strategize in ways that will achieve great results. Purify our thoughts and motives so that each one of us will enter this meeting desiring the good of others and the pleasures of your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here.
Steve Dorchenez.
Present.
Kathy Driscoll. Here. Randy Mitchelson.
Here.
Jim Olive.
Present.
Chris Gultady.
Present.
Jeremy Wilson.
All aldermen are present except for Alderman Wilson and Alderman Bryant. First on the agenda, I'm going to skip up a little bit and honor Joslyn Stevens first. This young lady won first place in the Right to Life art contest. Out of 30 entries, she placed first and was featured on the front cover of the Right to Life calendar. So if Joslyn would come forward, I'd like to honor you. Whereas to really excel in any one subject, a young person must demonstrate, in addition to a great deal of natural ability, an outstanding spirit of knowledge, dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And whereas Joslyn Stevens won the Right to Life contest with her artwork displayed on the front cover of the Right to Life calendar, and now therefore I, Bruce Berry, Mayor of the City of Taylorville, do hereby proclaim November 4th, 2024 as Joslyn Stevens Day. Congratulations. Now I'd like to honor the Taylorville Junior High School softball team. For the first time in school history, the Taylorville Junior High softball program achieved these accomplishments. Most wins in the season with a record of 14-5, longest winning streak with winning 11 games in a row, won the T-Town round robin, won 2 games in the regional and played for the regional championship, and they scored 100 more runs as a team than had ever been done before. As I mention your name, if you'll stand up, Kinsley Heimsness and Keith Aubrey Burton, William Wiley, Casey Hay, Lindsay Altman, Kelly Durbin, Kenna Jones, Anna Bessarowski, Macy Neighbors, Carson Torzine, Susie Harden, Sophie Wiley, Ada Herbstreit, Daisy Williams, Mabel Repton, Olivia Gray, Kyler Lawrence, Avril Gatton, Macy Richardson. Coached by Kenny Stewart, Ashley Corzine, Ron Moreland, Jennifer Richardson, Chris Durham, and I myself helped them for a little bit. Continue to come forward, please. I named today after Joslyn, so I'm going to give you guys tomorrow. So it says, whereas the 2024 TJHS softball team has shown perseverance, hard work, dedication, and great coaching, and whereas the 2024 Taylorville Junior High School softball team had many firsts, most wins in the season, 14, 11-game winning streak, scored 100 or more runs in 18 before them, and played for the regional championship. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Berry, Mayor of the City of Taylorville, do hereby proclaim November 5th, 2024 as Taylorville Junior High School Softball Team Day.
That's that I slided.
Enjoy the cake. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Exit that way. Where's Joslyn? Hopefully you're at the center of it. Yeah, they were doing
Questions or comments?
Yes.
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Skelton?
Yes.
Doug Brown?
Yes.
Minutes of the regular meeting held October 21st, 2024. Minutes of the street and sewer committee meeting held October 24th, 2024. Motion to approve the minutes by Alderman Dorchenez, second. Alderman Mitchelson, questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Randy Mitchelson?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Skelton?
Yes.
Doug Brown?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a BDD number 1 redevelopment agreement by and between the City of Taylorville, Illinois and Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Motion to approve. Alderman Skoltedi, second.
Second.
Alderman Mitchelson, and what this pertains to is that $19,000 payment. We just had to get it rid of the ordinance form. And we got a letter from Steve Klein. You might want to explain to the council that the ordinance and agreement we have provided is reimbursement to further ratify the payment pursuant to the requirements of the respective BDD and TIF Act. So we're doing everything legal with this ordinance back. So, motion and a second. A roll call.
Randy Mitchelson?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Skelton?
Yes.
Doug Brown?
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. Motion carries 7-0. Ordinance approving and authorizing amending paragraph B through E of section 3-6-3 and amending sections 3-6-6 and 3-6-7 of the Taylorville City Code, cigarette and tobacco licenses. Motion to approve. Alderman Skoltedi, second. Alderman Brown, questions or comments? Roll call.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Skelton?
Yes.
Doug Brown?
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Randy Mitchelson?
Yes.
Mayor Barry?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. This next ordinance is approving and amending 10-9-1A and 9-1-14J5D of the Taylorville City Code. I believe we have to have a public hearing, and we have to publish it 10 days advance, so that's why we called off the public hearing and didn't have something right at this. So I guess we'll do this ordinance on November 18th. Correct, Rocky?
What?
Having video difficulty. Hold on just a second.
Hold
Rocky,
on,
we
Rocky.
can't hear you.
We
Hold
can't
on.
hear you.
Hold on, Rocky. Go ahead, Rocky. Keep talking, give me a test. I can hear you.
Maybe it's because I turned my volume down.
No, yeah, I'll take a trip on the cord.
Did you go on the board?
Yeah.
Hold on a second, Rocky. Just a minute.
Could it be because because
Now,
you turned my volume off.
Oh, I didn't turn the mic on. Look.
Yeah, they stepped on it, they tripped on the cord and plugged it.
Oh, way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I don't see anybody, but can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
fine.
Okay, let me kind of explain what this is all about, if I can. I sent you a recent email about an hour before with a revised proposed ordinance and a notice of hearing. And the reason for that, Joslyn reached out to me and asked me to help her with that ordinance. And she sent it to me. I made certain handwritten revisions. And I noted to her when I looked at it, we had to also make an amendment to our zoning code because I looked at the codifier put in the wrong sections on 10-9-1. So in order to have it coincide with your requested amendments to 911, we had to also make an amendment to 10-9-1, which is your zoning code. And that particular section requires the planning commission has to meet and approve it. And then you have your public hearing. It's actually not less than 15 days or more than 30 days that you have a public hearing. So that's why there was a little confusion. I think in my explanation to Joslyn, I confused the issue, and the notice of hearing that went out addressed the 911, but not the 10-911. So I apologize to Joslyn for that, but I've got it corrected, and I think you need to put it on your December 2nd meeting, and you should be okay with it.
All right, thank you.
Now,
City
should I go
attorney-
into city attorney updates?
Yes, please.
Okay. Your city clerk's office contacted me. You've got two pending. You've got someone who is non-contiguous to the city who wants to enter into an annexation agreement to get water. You have someone else who's recently, like the last week I think, who are contiguous, wants to come in and annex into the city. And I think there's a third one on the horizon that wants to do something. So when the city clerk's office reached out to me with the forms that they had that I had prepared back in 2015, they were wanting to know how to proceed. So I don't think, in 2015, this is under Mayor Brotherton and when Pam Peabody was in office, we were trying to save money for the city, because anytime you have an annexation agreement, you have to have a public hearing. So I created a form that those who are contiguous and those who are not contiguous sign the same document. Then they sign an annexation agreement, and then 4 times a year, every 3 months, the city would just publish that public hearing, have the public hearing, and whoever fit within that last 3 months could be approved by the city council. And it worked out pretty well in the past. So what I'm bringing it up to you this evening, if that's how you want to proceed with it, it will save the city money in the long run. Then maybe at your December 2nd meeting, we can have that 4th quarter annexation hearing that will take in these 2 folks who have asked to be get city water services. So if everyone's okay with that, that's how I'll move forward with the city clerk's office, and we'll set that up for December 2nd. Is there any questions about that?
Is there any reason we can't do it in 2 weeks? This gentleman's trying to get his property annexed in. He wants to try and get his building up prior to the weather turning bad. That's why I'm asking.
Can we do it in 2 weeks, Rocky, or not?
Well, you have to have the public hearing not less than 15, so you wouldn't have time before the 2 weeks one. It wouldn't be 15 days, it'd have to be December 2nd.
Okay.
And that's by statute, I can't change that.
Okay, well, whenever I spoke to you on the phone, you said Templeton didn't need a public hearing because he is contiguous.
Those that are contiguous to the city doesn't need a public hearing.
Doesn't need-
That's
Those
what
who
we're talking
want,
about.
those who are not contiguous and sign the annexation agreement, you have to have a public hearing to approve the annexation agreement. That's by statute. The forms that I created in 2015, we had both scenarios. We had both people that were contiguous, people who were not contiguous, sign that annexation agreement. But if you look at the form, under one paragraph, if you're contiguous, the same night that they approved the annexation agreement for everybody, you would adopt an ordinance to allow that person to be annexed into the city that evening.
That answer your question, Elizabeth?
No, because if
I mean,
he's,
this one doesn't need the public hearing and he's the one that wants it.
Well, the whole idea here is that that's why we combine the forms, because if you're doing that, and then if the city wants to take a different direction than what they did in 2015, that's fine with me. We just have to change the forms a little
You need a
bit.
public
Not a big
hearing
deal.
if they're contiguous.
But those that are contiguous,
No.
you can have that, they can just file a petition. You have to do the 10-day notices to, the fire protection district, to the public library district, to the Taylorville Township. You have to send those notices out. That's a requirement by statute.
All right.
So there is a time element involved.
Okay, well, we can do that. We can
I think
do
those have already
the
been done.
contiguous.
I have them ready, I can send them out tomorrow.
Right, so, no problem. All right, we'll do the contiguous one November 18th and the non-contiguous one December 2nd.
Thank you. We appreciate
Split
it.
these up this time, it'll be easier for the person that wants to annexation.
So going forward from here, do we go back to the 2015 forms to save the city money? Is that what we're saying, or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all
All
right.
right.
Next item I have, I think I've shared with you the email on the Hathaway agreement revisions that's been submitted to them. Their attorneys reached out to me and I replied, waiting to hear back, so hopefully we'll get that taken care of. I would hope by the next meeting. Just to remind you guys, the state building code ordinance, the deadline is December 31st. We gotta have a 30-day notice, so we need to probably act on that as soon as possible. And then, again, remind you on that BDD agreement, the email I sent to you about Ordinance 4054, and some suggestions about what procedures you want to go forward in the future about making sure that those people who get the BDD funds actually perform the remedial work, the improvements in accordance with the building codes of the city of Taylorville. And who checks that? Your attorneys are not checking it, and rightfully so. They wouldn't have any reason to know how to do that. So the question is, if you want to, I think the language needs to be amended to make sure that those folks that get the money, they do it in accordance with city code. Then the question is, do you want your HBO officer out there, or your zoning enforcement officer, to make sure that all improvements are up to code with the city of Taylorville? So that's something you probably need to take back to your ordinance committee and see how you want to handle that. And the final issue is, I've shared with you an email about, some recent update on recent litigation. So I don't need to say anything more about that. I think I explained it in the email. Is there any questions?
Thank you.
If not, that concludes my report.
All right. Mayoral report. Congratulations to the volleyball team for winning the regional. They'll play tomorrow night, Muhammad versus Muhammad. Congratulations to the football team on making the playoffs. With a few breaks, they could have won Saturday. Thank you to Small Town Taylorville and the Chamber for putting on the Halloween parade. It was a success. The city is continuing to work on the water line on Springfield Road. Poplar Street in front of the firehouse seems to be about done. They're just doing a little bit extra work there to the east on Poplar. This Saturday, we'll be putting up flags at the cemetery to honor our veterans. And next Monday at the memorial out at the lake, there will be a memorial service at 1 p.m. Also a service at the Legion at 10 a.m. on Monday. That's all I have. Committee reports. Discussions and/or motions to approve, adopt, and/or deny, and/or table, and/or amend, and/or refer to appropriate committee in whole and part to matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at the committee level. Street and sewer. Alderman Dorchester, do you want to take this over?
Sure. First one's a motion recommended the city council to approve, to direct the mayor to sign Phil Tullis Excavating Incorporated change order number 2 for quantity adjustments and concrete work on the East Poplar Street Improvements Project. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchester, second.
Second.
Alderman Brown, questions or comments? Roll call.
Chris Schultz-Eddy?
Yes.
Doug Brown?
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Randy Mitchelson?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Motion to recommend the city council to approve, the mayor, to direct the mayor to sign pay request number 2 from Phil Tullis Excavating Incorporated in the amount of $160,301.70 for the work on East Poplar Street improvements. this conditioned upon receipt of signed mechanics lien waivers in this amount, certified payroll records, and recommendations by the project engineer that work has been satisfactorily performed. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second.
Second.
Alderman Brown, questions or comments? Roll call.
Doug Brown,
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Randy Mitchellson,
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Motion to recommend to the city council to approve and direct the mayor to sign Dunn Company change order number 1 for adjustments in reference to the Veterans Memorial parking lot. Make that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second.
Second.
Alderman Driscoll, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to recommend to the city council to approve, to direct the mayor to sign pay request number 1, which is the final pay request from Dunn Company in the amount of $168,606.75 for the work on the Veterans Memorial Parking Lot project. This conditioned upon receipt of signed mechanics lien waivers in this amount, certified payroll records, and recommendations by the project engineer that work has been satisfactorily performed. Make that in form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second.
Second.
Alderman Brown, questions or comments? Roll call.
Randy Mitchellson.
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Motion to recommend to the city council to approve the mayor to direct the mayor to sign the Altifer fuel sample contract at a cost not to exceed $12,516. Make that in form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second.
Second.
Alderman Brown, questions or comments? Roll call.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Randy Mitchellson.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Motion to approve or ratify payment of bills $969,585.31. Motion to approve
I'll make that motion.
by Alderman Mitchelson, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorchenez, comment, Alderman Mitchelson?
They all seem appropriate. I looked at them today, so they're fine.
All right. Roll call.
Doug Brown.
Yes.
Steve Dorchenez.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll.
Yes.
Randy Mitchellson.
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. First subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. The Illinois Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/1XC mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and/or committee meeting. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Thank you. Anyone like to address the council? Name, address, please.
My name is Ted Sutton. I live at 2401 East Lakeshore Drive here in Taylorville. I also serve on the Veterans Lake Point Committee. First off, we'd like to say thank you very, very much for that parking lot. It's an amazing contribution to our veterans out there. It speaks volumes of the commitment the city has made to that. We can't say thank you enough. Hopefully everybody's been out there and seen it. If you haven't, like I said, it's a great improvement. Our committee is striving every year to make improvements. I've been on the committee almost 3 years now, and every year we're working on trying to improve somewhere. We're a little bit jealous of some of the smaller towns as we look around. Nokomis, Waverly, Mulberry Grove, they all have large pieces of military equipment, whether planes, tanks, or something, until now. I'd like to present this to council for consideration. As you know, the Lake Point Veterans or Lake Point Memorial sits on the shorelines of Lake Taylorville, and what a better piece of military equipment. Almost. We're close.
We need to dredge first.
Yeah. The military's DUKW, which is called military duck.
Yeah.
We have found one, believe it or not, in Springfield, Illinois. Most of them that we have found on the internet that are used, usually running in the neighborhood of 70,000 to 80,000 and upwards. Myself and Rich Payne met with the owner today. He's wanted to sell it to us for $30,000. Both of them are getting very old. We tried to get it for free. We said, we put up a memorial for you, your brother, in your honor. And that was going nowhere. So they're pretty hard to steadfast on the $30,000. We figured in this proposal to a fundraising proposal. It's going to take another $10,000 to probably get it here and set up a location just next to the memorial. It does have some broken windows out. We want to make it safe so kids can't be climbing in and out of the cab of this unit and getting hurt. I know you just spent a big amount of money on this parking lot, and this kind of came up. It's one of those gems that don't come up very often, and so it's kind of here in front of us now that we'd like to move forward on it. Yes, we know we need to raise money on this. I told the mayor the other day, I had some family members watching and put these together, and they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to put together a fundraiser to get this duck in Taylorville." Before they left, I had $4,000 said that they've donated towards this process. So here I am again today on the committee asking for money, whatever the city can do for us. Obviously, it belongs to the city once we get to the memorial. Everybody's got their hands out, I know, this time of year and close to Christmas and everything else. So
Tim, is this the one that sits on Berkshire Park?
that is correct.
You know, that's been there for 40 years.
It has.
I can't believe he wants that much money for it.
Well,
I think he'd be glad to get rid of it.
well, scrap value, it's
Yeah,
aluminum.
scrap.
Scrap value of aluminum alone is $30,000. He told us that it was running, they drove it there and parked it there. It used to drive around the lot until about 15 years ago and hasn't been moved since. I said, well, I don't see us driving down Route 29 Park.
Well, moving forward, I think we probably need to discuss this in finance meeting.
Absolutely.
And going forward, if Alderman Mitchell would like to put this in the finance meeting.
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda.
On the agenda, and
Thank you.
make a presentation again for Thursday, the 21st, I believe. Probably, without listed in the written account.
Sneak down a maker and
Well, they got a World War II tanks. And Comas, I don't know if you've been in those Comas or not. Very impressive. A tank and a jet.
We also should have in your box, they're inviting everyone to the Veterans Memorial this
Yeah.
Monday at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. I think we formally want to thank the city and city council.
Superintendent, man, don't we have a flatbed truck? Semi?
We could make arrangements possible.
Yeah. It weighs 30,000 pounds.
I think.
Yeah, it don't matter. Put that on
I
my
think
back.
we can get that. Pick up the.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Anyone else like to address the council? Seeing none, I ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Alderman Skoltedi, second, Alderman Driscoll, all in favor?